DigiCert ONE can be installed in minutes versus months. Our modern PKI platform was engineered for the cloud. Before starting, let's assume you have access to a Kubernetes cluster. This cluster can either be in your data center, or it can be a platform on a cloud provider. Additionally, this cluster will need access to an email server, a database service, and an HSM. Although the HSM is not required for initial setup, it can be added at a later time. Let's give a brief overview of the Kubernetes system. What is Kubernetes? Kubernetes is a container orchestration system installed on a collection of master and worker nodes. Generally, these nodes are Linux virtual machines capable of running a Docker engine. These services work in a unified platform to simplify the management of containerized applications. We had the goal to build a flexible system that was easy to scale and highly available. That is why we chose to build DigiCert ONE on Kubernetes. With simple commands, Kubernetes can automate the rollout of new features, secrets and configuration management, service discovery, network load balancing, and self-healing of failed services. In short, Kubernetes is a tool necessary to deploy, install, and run cloud-native applications, such as our DigiCert ONE modern platform. To install DigiCert ONE, you need to install and download a few tools on a deployment machine. This machine can be a laptop or any system that has network access to your Kubernetes cluster. All these tools work on Mac, Windows, or Linux. So the first thing we need to do is install the Kubernetes command line tool on the deployment machine, or kubectl for short. kubectl is the main way you interact with your Kubernetes cluster. This tool is able to deploy applications, inspect and manage cluster resources, and view logs through command line arguments or declarative YAML files. These management actions are made through authenticated API calls to a master node in your cluster. Kubernetes supports multiple authentication methods, from basic username and password to client-server authentication. So the next thing to install on the deployment machine is Helm. What is it? Helm is a package management system. Most operating systems and programming ecosystems have a package management tool. Linux has Yum, Java has Gradle, and Kubernetes has Helm. It defines the application configuration, container information, and deployment information in a collection of files called Helm charts. DigiCert ONE Docker containers are stored in a Docker registry, and charts are stored in a DigiCert Helm chart repository. So the last step is to install the DigiCert ONE configuration management tool, dcone. This tool is responsible for collecting environment information needed during the DigiCert ONE installation. It collects information such as email server configuration strings, database configuration strings, and HSM information. This tool outputs YAML configuration files that will be used by Helm and kubectl during the DigiCert ONE installation. Now we have all the tools installed, let's start by running the installation commands. Run the dcone config command and enter the correct values when prompted. When this tool completes, it will output files used for the DigiCert ONE installation. It is important to store the dcone secrets and dcone deployment values YAML in a secure location. These files can be used to restore your DigiCert ONE system if needed. So the next couple of commands will configure the database and deployment tools for the final installation steps. Start by having your database administrator run the SQL script against your database to create the DigiCert ONE schema. Next, configure the Helm tool to point to the DigiCert chart repository. All is left is to run a few simple kubectl and Helm commands to configure the Kubernetes cluster and install the DigiCert ONE containers. And now, in a matter of minutes, you can use your DigiCert ONE system.